What's good, family? Welcome to this week's video. We're going to be talking about how to do some cool stuff to a sine, which I'll show you what it sounds like in just a second. But before I get into that, I got a few things to cover. First off, thank you to Kilohertz once again for allowing me to do some coverage over some of your products. This video would not be possible without you. Second of all, for the month of September, I'm offering privates for half off. So normally I'm $40 an hour. If you're a patron, you get $5 off and then half of that. So dude, if you're a patron right now, you can get a private lesson with me for like $17.50. And that's only for the month of for the month of September. Feel free to join my Discord and chat with us. It's a great place for you to send your tunes. It's a great place for you to ask me questions directly. But I think that I'm pretty good about answering that kind of stuff on YouTube already. It's all available, but I'm really just trying to create some resources for you guys, my viewers. With all that being said, I haven't quite figured out what I want to do yet, but I'd like to start promoting some more content on here that's maybe a little bit outside of tutorials, not for the sake of just trying to get clickbait, but for the sake of actually promoting my music. So if you guys have any ideas about some stuff for music videos or something that you might want to see, like an animation or just, I guess, one of those like weird UKF things or whatever, then let me know. Other than that, one of my ideas was I was thinking about posting some gaming that's in silence, just with my music over the background. Maybe it'll be edited, maybe not. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about that stuff, or if you have a suggestion, or I've even been thinking about maybe starting a vlog or something since I'm a circus performer and martial arts teacher. I'd like your feedback, so let me know. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started with this patch. Today I'm going to be covering how to make a really cool bass strictly from using a sine wave and then processing it with some effects that we're going to highlight with multipass today. So first we have a sine wave, which sounds like that. Then under multipass we have... Now stick around for the entire video because yes, I'm going to be giving this out on Patreon and all that, and it's cool to figure out how this is done, but there's a couple of variations that I want to cover down towards the end of the video that I would like you guys to be able to see. But first I kind of have to get through the wheres and whys, so bear with me. There is an OTT at the end if you so choose, but you don't necessarily need it. It will change the sound a little bit. That will just give it a little bit of extra crispiness, but again, this doesn't really have too much going on. So I'll show you what I mean. If we open up Faceplant here, you can see that this is the only thing that is doing anything. So it's just a sine wave. Where all the magic happens is through this, which actually isn't that bad in its own right. You can tell that most of the processing is going through the mid-band here, but what I'll do is, as I usually do, is just turn off all the effects and then kind of go down one by one. So let's do that. All right, so if I turn everything off, then we have our sine wave. So the first thing that I added was some distortion. And the reason why we need this is because when you take a sine wave, it literally only has one harmonic, and distortion is one of the best ways to, well, basically add that. There are many other ways that you can add harmonics to a sound, but distortion is usually one of the primary means of generating that. So if I play this, you can see that it's a little bit fatter now. And now that we're getting something, we can have something to build off of. And that's ultimately like the cool thing about sculpting sound is most of the time you work in reverse. So usually you start with a fat chunky sound and then you take away from it. But when you do, some people call it sine compression in some of these basses. For me, more so, I just call it building from a sine wave, because first you have to build the harmonics before you can take it away in the first place. But that's neither here nor there. The second most important thing actually of this entire patch is actually this bit crusher right here. So let's listen to how this sounds, which is basically making it the fuzzy lumpkins thing that it is. You can copy these settings here. They are pretty important. The dithering in particular is, and the, how do I say, actually let's do this. Let me copy this because I have those settings dialed in, and let's just go ahead and look at this bit crusher right here for a second while I change some knobs. So we have the fuzz going on, right? But if I turn this down, then you're going to notice that the sound of the fuzz is obviously going to change, which can kind of be cool as an effect, but you can see how the hertz affect basically the bit rate or something. If you turn the bits up, it will change the sound drastically as well. So if I start to play this, let's just put this at a full mix. Then you can start to see that it makes it sound more so like a 8-bit super lo-fi. So kind of finding that in between right there with the bits is pretty important. And then you can find a happy medium with that, and the dithering will help that out as well. It's pretty close. So yeah, if you want, you can just copy those settings that are on here, and then we can kind of continue. On the low end, which is 156 hertz and below, there is nothing happening. On the mid-band, we have 3 filters that are actually doing the exact same thing. So I'll cover that quickly. And this is going to give it kind of that womp movement. Let's go ahead and turn those on, and then let's take a look. And sorry, what I'm actually going to do here is also just turn the compressor on, because that's going to make this a lot easier to explain. The compressor is honestly just taming all of this because it's relatively loud. So what these are 3 band passes that are boosting the low mid signal to create a womp sound. And the cool thing about multipass is not only is it a multi-band, I guess, effect rack, but it can also apply envelopes and LFOs as well. So everything is applied to a single LFO on here that is kind of all copying the same rate. It would be cool if there was a envelope draw thing in here, but that's totally fine. This is more than manageable, and there's other workarounds that as well. With all that being said, these 3 are again doing the exact same thing. That's just kind of creating a little bit of resonance on the low mid range. And then what this one is a notch that's kind of helping it even out a little bit. So what this does is it takes out the frequencies that are right next to the resonance, and it kind of helps accentuate that a little bit without it sounding, well, I guess, too muddy. Next up is the distortion. Since we're doing some cutting there, it's going to add some of those frequencies back. Again, this is on a pretty low mix here, so it shouldn't be too difficult. Then, yeah, that's actually helping bring that out by quite a bit. So yeah, you're doing your filtering, or your boosting rather, and then your distortion after. Now the chorus and the phaser are going to make it sound a little bit smoother. So listen to this. These are just the optimal settings that I found best suited for this. It's not really anything that I did in particular. So, and then the phaser is kind of the same case if you want to look at what I did. Kind of cool, because now that has a little bit of stereo and it makes it sound like it's doing a little bit more. The high band, there's kind of a lot going on. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 are going towards these filters, and then the remaining 3 are doing a few different things. The first thing that I did on this high end was add some distortion, which is pretty cool. You're going to notice that this is going to move. So, which is one of the coolest features about this, is that you can set an LFO to move and change the frequency at which the bands are split. So that's what I've done here, is I've taken LFO 1 and then added that to the high band, so that way this fluctuates with extra movement, which is pretty freaking cool. We have some high shelving here that's kind of giving that a boost, and then we're kind of evening it out with some cutting here. So not only is this moving here, but it's also forcing this to move up and down, so you get some really cool movement whenever you, I guess, play the whole entire sound. Sorry, I had to count and like double check right there. Yeah, so these 4 are being modulated by this, and then the last 2 are from here, and that's pretty much it. On the compression side of things, I'm really just trying to even out all the frequencies and, you know, take out the dynamics of it, so to speak. And I know that we're a little bit lower than what it's actually supposed to be, but you can always fix that with a limiter if you need to. And I have retrigger set to on. So other than that, that's pretty much it. But because it's a sine wave, there's some cool things that you can do. So if I play 2 notes at once, actually let's go in here. You're noticing that I play an F. If we play an F with an F sharp, then you get some really cool movement like that. So here's the thing, if you do that, it will change the pitch and it will shift. What I would suggest is really just find a movement pattern that you like, and then bounce that out and then repitch it to your root note. So you can take any 2 notes kind of like this and then just mess around, but if you take a quick listen, actually, I need to make that legato. So that's a little bit too fast, but if I move that up, and let's say that I like that, then I can bounce that out. So it's pretty neat. So one more thing that I want to cover is, again, like the versatility with this sine wave is pretty amazing. So if I turn the unison up on this to 2, I have spread and detune this just a little bit because I've already done this and I'm already explaining the patch, but you get some really neat stuff. So check this out. So yeah, it's pretty neat. And then if you want to do more processing to that and do more filtering, then you're more than welcome to, of course. But that's one of the coolest things that you can make just from a simple sine. And that's not even with doing any like external processing or anything outside of this. Like, I know that this seems like it's a lot, but to be honest, like 1, 2, 3 are the same, and then it's just the same kind of combination of either distortion, EQ, and filtering. And then you have like your utility stuff, like your compression, to kind of even things out. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed that video, and thank you so much for watching my content. I have a lot of stuff to cover, but I'm also trying to do specific things that are kind of thematic, so to speak, just because I do a lot of bass stuff and I do a lot of drum stuff. But what I'd like to do more so than anything, as opposed to a simple sound design video, is kind of explore the unknown and more so of like the how do I get things done answers, you know? Because if I can teach you how to explore, then it's going to be a lot more beneficial to you all, as opposed to knowing how to make a single sound. If you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he eats for life. God, I hate that analogy. But it's true. It's true. So yeah, thank you guys for watching my content. Please feel free to leave some feedback in the comment section if you guys need anything. And happy producing.